Brandon Hermiller, the HS Dye Chevrolet from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Weston Jewett from the same city. The RJ Expediting, Rap Signs, Kendall Oil Jets, Pizza Chevy. Field starting to pick up the pace. The Grimm Automotive pace car drops to the pits. Green flag waving in turn 4. Outside lane, a little bit slow on the start. It bunches up the field. A little bit of contact up there. 3 wide deep in the field. They come clean off of turn number 2. Nearly a problem for Terry Cater in the number 50 car. And his outside, Justin Regners, to lap number 1, leading Brandon Hermiller. Mark Lambert in the 18, a great qualifying lap this weekend. Oh, down into turn number 3, the 51, nearly lost at Weston Jewett, hanging on to a ill-handling car on the back stretch. Gets it through 3 and 4. Sibla as well as Brian Ross double up from behind. Some sparks flying from the number 6, your leader, Brandon Hermiller, as he bottomed out in turn 2. We continue on. Lap 3 complete at the line. A real soft setup low on that number 6 of Hermiller. Oh, Weston Jewett has scuffed up the right side of his car. He's fading through the field. First time appearance at Winchester, and Hermiller struggling early. 3 wide down into the 3rd turn. Neal checks up a little bit. Double file off of 4. Single file formation at the front. Falling back though, nearly out of the top 10 already is Grand Rapids, Michigan driver Weston Jewett. On the move, Rick Reinhardt, former winner here on the high banks. Reinhardt, the Ashley, Indiana campaigner, up another spot. Next battle might be for the 3rd spot. Sibla, good run last night for the 42. He was strong in qualifying. He's closing on the 18 of Lambert. Ross, longtime veteran driver in late model competition, running 4th. Derek Griffin, young driver, winner of the Stan Perry race at Angola earlier this season, drops to the bottom side by side for 4th. In corner 4 and taking the spot is Derek Griffin, driver from South Bend. Top qualifier Scott Neal from 8th. He moves into the top 5, gives some room for Ross, who's falling back in the 15 car. Also dropping through the field, Hastings, Michigan driver Lauren Bush. Griffin closing on 3rd. Derek Griffin in the 1X. Griffin and Sibla, both drivers reeling in the number 18 of Mark Lambert. Just about through the first 1/5 mark of the race. Single file back to Bobby Strimmy. And Mark Parker nearly lost it off of turn 2. Lit the rear tires up as he looked underneath Strimmy. Hermiller close to the wall. Trouble down in turn 2. 6 car, your leader, Brandon Hermiller, is spun. Oh, Brandon Hermiller, driver of the number 6, is spun in the HS Dye number 6. Your leader, caution number 1, lap number 10 complete. Ready for green, Lambert and Sibla. Here we go. Scott Neal on the bottom. Neal, the top qualifier and track record holder for the division, has gone to the inside of Griffin. Single file back to about the number 2 of Cater, starting to make a run. Battle for 2nd now. Battle for the 2nd spot in 3 and 4. To the inside goes Scott Neal. Side by side with Sibla, nearly lost it. Had to check up in corner 4. Griffin following Neal. Neal with that bobble running the bottom on a quick Sibla car. 13 down, 37 to go. Terry Cater to the inside now. Also Griffin racing with Neal. Cater picks up a spot on the outside pole sitter, the 51 of Weston Jewett. Here comes Neal for second this time. He picks up the spot. Neal's picked up 6 positions already. Moves around Sibler for second. If nothing happens to that 117 Neal, again, definitely the car to beat tonight. Takes fourth. Boy, Campbell not giving much room to the 18 car of Lambert. Close for the second place car, leader rather, of Lambert. Here comes Neal. Campbell and he get together. Trouble in front of the leaders. Caution, flag out. Scott Neal in the 17. Contact with the 35 of David Campbell. Does it take Neal before he makes a run at the leader? Not very long, as already Neal has dropped to the bottom. 17 of Neal on the inside of Lambert for the top spot, down into 3 and 4. Lambert pulls back ahead, the preferred lane in the outside groove. A little more ponies down the straightaway for the 117 and into the wall. Bobby Strimmy continues on. That allows the 2 of Cater to pick up a spot. And into the lead is Scott Neal. Here comes the 1X of Derry Griffin along. Griffin to second, to third, Sturkowitz. Sturkowitz, good run so far tonight, was strong last night in the All-Star race. Heavy traffic coming up for the... Oh, all kinds of trouble down in turns 1 and 2. Look out down in the first and second turn. Part of that, the point champion Charlie Hanna in the 68 car. He does pick up the pace a little bit earlier this time. Into turn number 4. A little bit of a better start. We're off and racing. Green flag back in the air. Side by side for about the 8th position is Steve Stacy in the 95, racing with Kevin Claiborne. Caution, flag out. First of 4 50-lap features on the track. USA Modifieds up next. To the green, Scott Neal. Reinhardt ready to make his next move. In the 5th spot, Sibla, last night's runner-up in the New Stars race. Holding on to 4th. Car's running a low lane through turn 3 and going into 4, drifting up the banking. Three-car breakaway back to about the 7th spot. Here comes the 171 of Claiborne. Kevin Claiborne in car number 171 on the inside of Mark Lambert. Lambert led this race for a while, then fell back. It was a good qualifying run earlier for the Noblesville driver, but now he's mired deep in the top 10. Holds off Claiborne. And right in front of the leader, there's the 35 car of Campbell. Neal gets it woe down, so does Griffin in the 1X. We've got caution for the 35 of rookie David Campbell. Angola, Indiana driver, top 10 in House CRA Late Model Sportsman points. Got up into the wall after something on the right front gave him problems. Scott Neal has been challenged a little bit after the restarts by Griffin, and then after a few laps, he pulls away from Griffin. The restart, a true test once again for Scott Neal as Griffin hangs right along with them, 18 from the finish. Single file formation all the way through the pack till Steve Stacy deep in the field gets around the 55. 17 to go. Hermiller, same problem in the 6. Both good qualifying laps for the Grand Rapids, Michigan drivers, but the race has not been so kind. Terry Cater in the number 2 car. Rick Reinhardt tries to close the door. Problems in the turn. And look out down in the first. Make it the 3rd and 4th corners. Rick Reinhardt in the 66 running 5th. A little bit better after a few laps of green is Neal, and back to the green we go. He's better on the opening restart. Right at first, pulls away from Griffin, then Griffin runs him back down, as well as Sturkowitz. 171 of Claiborne goes off into the pits. He was running in the top 10. He was 8th before going pit side. Top 4 breaking away from Lambert, who's in the top 5. For the 6th spot, Charlie Hanna continues to move forward. Had to go to the pits earlier after the big crash in 1 and 2. And the Goshen, Indiana champion Charlie Hanna picks up 6th. Ten laps to go that time at the stripe. 41 down and 9 to go this time for car number 17, Scott Neal. A lot of passing early for Neal. Griffin in the 1X is closing on Neal again. 8 to go that time. He's down to 2 car lengths behind. Pulls in a little closer, down to a car length and a half. Derek Griffin. 7 from the finish. Joe Woodring in the 51 has moved over for the leader. So has the 35 of Campbell. The lead battle maybe to take place soon. 6 to go. Down to a car length. Griffin running down the leader. Did he save a little bit for the last 5 circuits? Next time will be 5 to go for the lead duo. Look like equally matched cars, and that would be of a benefit to Scott Neal, who holds the lead. He's in the driver's seat. 5 from the finish, 45 complete for Scott Neal. Griffin now drops back a couple of car lengths after closing down the 1. A veteran in the lead. A young driver in second, about 18 years of age, but starting to put some nice wins on his resume. Derek Griffin in the 1X. Griffin the win in the Stan Perry Memorial Race in a last lap pass earlier this season at Angola. And an Outlaw Super Late Model. Also holds the track record at Toledo Speedway, but tonight he might come up a little short if he doesn't have a last 2.5 lap pass for Scott Neal. Neal stretching his advantage. 2 flags rolled up and in the air. Final 2 circuits for Scott Neal. Clear track ahead. They might catch the 51 of Woodring. Other than that, it should be clear sailing for the 117 of Scott Neal. Woodring moving way over to the bottom. White flag in the air. Final lap for Scott Neal. Off of turn 2, they roll to the backstretch. Half a lap to go for the Sulphur Springs, Indiana driver. The Motion Motors, Tri-County Plumbing, PGG Enterprises, McGonigal Engine Performance, Aero Race Wheels, 117. Scott Neal, the winner tonight in the Sullivan RV Sales and Service 50. Second place to Griffin. Coming home third is Sturkowitz. Fourth is Bob Siblet Jr. And in the 5th spot is Mark Lambert in the number 18.